Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio OPAC. Radio OPAC is a division of the Ohio Prison Arts Connection. At OPAC, we connect people to the power of the arts inside and outside of prison. My name is Edward Julian, and I will be your host today. Welcome to all of you, including our friends in correctional institutions in Ohio and other states via DVDs of the shows. The shows are archived also on YouTube. Our guest today is Sheirra Haines. Welcome, Sheirra.
Thank you, Julian.
And I'm always having a hard time pronouncing it. Did I pronounce that right?
You pronounced it right.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Sheirra, our author of From Pain to Power and your newly released book, Matters of the Heart. Writing is an art form, and Sheirra, writing for you has been your healing process. We know that in prison, it can be a challenge to get some free time to write. Also in prison, some people are writing for the very first time. What advice would you give to those who are writing for the very first time, the beginner's writer?
Always just don't focus on the format, just write from your heart. As long as you write from your heart and just let it flow, everything else will fall in place as you go over it.
Okay. So Sheirra, can you tell us what pushed you to write your very first book?
Well, actually, when I wrote this book, when God gave me this book, I wasn't really ready to write the book at the time. And after I had overcame a couple things in my life, I knew that it was time to release the book. Being that I had overcame certain things as far as like drug addiction, incarceration, being a single mom, domestic violence, I knew that I had something that could help somebody else get through or stop somebody from actually going through.
Okay. And that gave you the motivation to write the very first book.
Yes.
Okay. And you said you was going through some drug addiction. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Well, before I was incarcerated, I had, when my grandmother had passed away when I was 18 years old, I had gotten into a relationship with a man 12 years older than me. He was abusive. And I started off slow. I started off smoking weed, and I started popping pills. The more that, you know, we began to fight, then I had started with the cocaine.
Okay.
Actually, when I went to prison and was able to be in there and rededicate my life back to God and rebuild my relationship with Him, I got to read my word. I kind of got delivered from the drug addiction through the word. I didn't go through any program or anything. It was me and God that helped me get through my addictions and a lot of other things that I was facing when I went inside the prison.
Okay. So writing has become part of your personal transformation. What advice do you have for people who want to change a traumatic experience in their life?
First, I want to tell them that they got to identify it. You got to know what you went through and you got to own it. So for me, Men and Brokenness, that's a soul piece for women who are ready to own their truth. In order to conquer anything, you got to confront it. So knowing that you went through something, identifying what it was that you went through, and then take the steps that you need to take so that you can heal and transform into the person that you want to be and the person that you was created to be.
Wow, I like that. I really like that. So Sheirra, you are a woman of faith. When you are writing or motivating someone who might feel like giving up, what do you tell them?
I tell them Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. I had plans. That's a scripture that I hold on to. Every time I is before you formed me, you knew me. So I know I can do this. And that's exactly what I tell other people. And my books is solely for people to get their own relationship with God. Because when you got your own relationship with God and you're not looking at what nobody else is telling you or how nobody else is telling you you should be, then it make your walk more smoother. It make you own who you are. and you comfortable in who you are. You can own everything that you went through and walk through unapologetically because you know that God had a plan for you.
Okay. Now you did serve some prison time, right?
I did 18 months in, I had 18 months sentence. I did 9 months inside of ORW with my third child. I was pregnant when I went to prison. So I was in that nursery program, and I sent her home when she was 9 months, and I did the rest of my time at Trumbull Correctional Institution in Warren, Ohio.
Right. And your son is the oldest, right?
My son is the oldest.
And how old is your son?
How old?
Yes.
He's 20.
20. Now, I know you've been through some situation with your son, and he's incarcerated now, right?
Correct. He's been incarcerated since he was 14 years old.
Okay, so how is that? Do you see a pattern here, or how has that affected you, like with your decision making, or just moving forward, or is it something that you possibly thinking like, hey, what can I do to change this situation?
I'm glad that you asked that. That's a good question because this is something that I like to touch on. Far as us as parents and raising children, that every decision that we make, it affects our child. So me going to prison, the life before that, he saw that. He was there through everything. So when I came home from prison, it was already in him. He was already doing the things that I was doing before I got incarcerated. So now it's just like walking the journey with him, letting him go through his change and have his story. God changed me, so I know he'd change him. But that's basically what it is. It was something that I created, and then, you know, it laid itself out because that's what he knew. Children from the age of 1 through 7, that's a real crucial time of their life. So
Very
you gotta,
impressionable.
if I'm selling drugs and I got him with me, and I'm doing drugs and I got him with me, and I'm fighting and I'm carrying guns and I'm doing all of this, and he's there, then that's the things that he's gonna pick up on. So when he started getting out and doing what he was doing, I was going through the programs and I was helping him, trying to stop him from going down that path that I had went down, but basically it was too late. He was already, you know, doing his own thing.
Wrapped up in the system, yeah.
Yeah, he was already doing.
So with him, and you saying that he basically got everything that he learned, it was a learned behavior from you. So with him going through his situation, being incarcerated at such a young age, because I know that he got incarcerated when he was 14, right? And was tried as an adult.
Correct.
How do that affect you today with your decision making, or just how you dealing with your other children?
Well, actually, I'm not going to say that. I mean, there's nothing I can do to go back and change it besides what I'm doing. And that's, you know, every day just being better than I was the day before. But it was it affected me in a real big way. He lost his father when he was incarcerated. I had another child that he wasn't able to be around, that he had been around because I had her since he was incarcerated. So it did affect me, but it made me stronger, and it made me be more aware of what I do around my children. And that's for everything, far as, you know, who I date, what I'm allowing them to see. I'm real conscious about that because I seen what can happen when you are, you know, living life and doing things your way, and you got little people that's watching. They think it's okay. They think it's cool. You know,
That's
your
right.
children look at us like, you know, that's my role model. That's my mom.
Right.
You know, that's how the kids be. So you got to be careful about how you move because they're watching you. So
That's so true.
It affected me. It didn't affect me just for my children, for my nieces and nephews, for the children in the community. I got to make sure that they see the real me, the real person that, you know, I am. And I'm careful with that even when I'm having bad days. You understand what I make sure that I always keep in the forefront somebody watching you. Even if you don't think they watching you, they watching you.
They watching you. You're right. So in case you're just joining us, our guest today is Sheirra Haines. We are discussing why it's important to follow your dreams and have a positive outlook to release built up stress. So Sheirra, the pandemic has changed things everywhere. We know that our prison population has been deeply affected. How has it affected you and your outreach?
Well, actually, we doing a virtual. You can do a virtual. I had 2 females that I have been able to connect with and do a video call with.
Okay.
Or, you know, I could send the books in there to them. Far as, you know, with my son, I do video. They let you do video calls all the time, but
Right.
just use this time from the pandemic to just really, really focus on me. You know, and I'm still there to help other people, but I feel like that's what the pandemic came to do, for all of us to focus on us, to make sure that we walking right, making sure that, you know, we stand in the place that we need to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You
grateful
know,
for the pandemic. It drew me closer to God. I'm really grateful for it. You know what I mean? While everything else was going crazy, it made me, you know, God, you still in control. So
right.
I still stay focused. I'm careful about, you know, the news and everything else. And I just continue to work on myself and continue to create things to help other women, because that's what God called me to do. So that's what I want to focus on. I focus more on God than I do the pandemic, because I know that God is in control. The pandemic gonna pass away. God gonna be there forever.
That's right. You know, and with this pandemic, for me, I understand exactly what you're talking about, because the pandemic, it was like everybody was in the uproar, like, I got to stay home. I'm going to be at home. I was like, I served 14 years. This is nothing. This cake mix. You know, I get a chance to really focus on me and read and write. And you know, like you say, just reach out to people and try to be that someone that they can hear a positive voice from. They've been through something. And we all need that.
Yeah, and just to slow down.
Yeah.
Just to slow down. Because I mean, in all actuality, if you know, working the job and then you doing what you do on the side, and then you got your family, you know, most of our days we just be running.
Yeah.
With the pandemic, it made you be still, you know, go back to the basics. I love
Yeah.
that. Go back to the basics, you know, church in the living room, you got all the kids right there. You know, it made you really slow down and pay attention and learn to love on people. Love to be more, you know, kind to people that you don't even know. I mean, it did that for me. It
That's
made
right.
me life more serious, because we lost a lot of people in 2020.
Yes, we did.
You know? So it's not even about people being here, it's how do you treat them while they are here?
That's
You
right.
know, what are you telling them while they're here? Are you helping get saved? Because we all gonna leave. I mean, the 2020 made me real intentional about my life.
That's right.
And I can't put it no other way. It made me real intentional. And I want to say this while I'm on here. I do a 3-part thing that I do with the women, and it's how are you, what happened today, and how did it make you feel?
Okay.
Check your, you know, because with everything going on in the world, it's important that we check our heart. It's important that we know where we at. It's important that you on right standing, and you not allowing the things that's going on around you to consume you. Because we in this world, we ain't of this world. So you got to make sure that you stay where you need to be, regardless of what's going on around you.
That's right. So in prison, programming is often an option, right? And our DVDs of Radio OPAC shows are going inside the prisons.
That's
What
good.
people keep in mind regarding writing, reading, and work ethics in order to do well in your field? Give them some advice.
I'm gonna say, read books. I read a lot of books. I journal a lot. Especially when I was incarcerated, I journal a lot. I probably could pull out one of them and write a book, like we was talking that day. But I journal a lot because it's a release and it's a healing piece.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like, you know, it to help you develop, you know, because me, I dropped out of school when I was in the 9th grade. Yeah, I went back to get my GED, but I didn't have certain, you know, education, certain words. When I read my books, it gives me the words. It educates me. I educate myself. I develop myself. And that's what I think people need to do when they are incarcerated, instead of playing dominoes and all them other things. Take advantage of the programs that they got in there, because there are programs in there. And if it's not programs, there's libraries. You can always educate yourself. You can always develop yourself. You don't need nobody to tell you, you know, hey, work on you. Use that time that you're sitting down to work on yourself. So when you come home, you will be, you know, an asset to the community instead of a liability. you will be done changed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true, because I seen it so many times. Guys just in there, and they be the best domino players you ever want to see. Can play chess, can beat anybody, can be a master at it, but didn't do anything to work on themselves.
Absolutely. And I worked at the prison. God allowed me to work in the prison 10 years after I had 10 years after I was released. And that's one of the things that I used to tell the ladies all the time. If I see them at the table or playing games, it's like, no, I need you to do something different, because I hear you talk about your kids. I hear you talk about this parent at home that needs you. I hear you saying the things, but how you utilizing your time is not adding up to what you saying you want to become. And it don't start when you get released, right?
That's right.
It start while you incarcerated. So you got to start right there, developing yourself, being the person that you want to be upon your release.
Yeah, that's that proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. You got to put in the work right now.
Right now.
Right now. And there's no waiting.
Right now. And don't let your, I love that you doing this, because don't let your felonies stop you from becoming who God created you to be.
That's right.
And you walk in, you see, I got on my relentless faith. Yes. When you walk in faith, doors got to open even when they don't want to. See, that's what people realize. The doors got to open even when they don't want to. Even when you got people standing there saying, nah, you can't come in. Your faith will get you in there. I don't work at the prison. Yeah. I don't work at the home care agency. This is stuff I'm not supposed to be able to do because I got felony. Yeah. But see, God got to say so. And my faith opened that door. So don't let your past define you. Do the work on yourself, and them doors will open up for you.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, many more people are reading and writing at home. Tell us and tell everyone, how could they purchase your book?
They can go on my website. It's I'mInBrokenness.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can contact me on any social media, or they can go on Amazon. So it's on Amazon. It's on my website. It's on Google Play Books, where they can get it as an ebook and they can carry it on their phone. You can pretty much get it anywhere where it's a book at. And I just put in a paper to get it into the library in Columbus Library. Okay. But yeah, Amazon, my website, contact me directly and they can get a book.
That's beautiful. I just definitely want to say that you are an inspiration. The moment I just seen you on Facebook, I started following you and just reading about you and checking up on you, and just being able to talk to you, like your story, it's amazing for you to be where you are today, not even graduating from high school, having some children while incarcerated, and a son and go to jail and he's incarcerated. Like, I just want to tell you that how proud I am of you, and continue to push forward. And any closing comments for the people that you want them to know, or something you want to tell them?
I think I said it. I just believe in yourself. Even when nobody else do, you believe. God placed something down on the inside of you. And if you want that to come to fruition, you got to believe in yourself and put in the work. That's all I tell people, is put in the work. Do the work, because it ain't going to do itself.
That's right. Okay, well, thank you, Sheirra Haines, for coming on and being with us today. Author of From Pain to Power and Matters of the Heart. Join us next week for another edition of Radio OPAC. Take care.
We're gonna make it happen. Do it today.